Hey, gang. Hey, chapter 10 is really one of those chapters where we start into a very interesting segment of our class. And this chapter deals with how are you influenced. This is one of those basics that deals with the concept of power, which I talked about in the introduction of our course. And in this we talk about how are we influenced and how does public opinion, for example, influence the way we think or how we vote or how we act in our society. Where does public opinion come from? And does it come from our families, our friends? Does it come from the media? How does that affect the way we think about, for example, democracy in America or who we decide to vote for in any given election? Now, how do you decide that when there's just so much stuff that is based on misinformation or half-truths? How do you find the truth in the information when there's so much information? It's almost like we do this thing where we info dump to you, and then you have to figure out through all the information what the right answer to the question is, or even if there is a right answer to the question. But it's also a time when we talk about how the role of public opinion in this system we call democracy, how it's used or how it's misused sometimes. What's the value to us as citizens? What is the value of public opinion to all of us? What influences our opinions, and how do we measure it? How do we track the public opinion? And when we talk about things like public opinion polls, well, we have to ask a lot of questions about those polls. Where do they come from? How do they, what do they start with? Because I guarantee you, if I take a poll on, say, civil rights, and I take it in California, which is very liberal, that it's going to sway toward the liberal side of the ticket. If I take it in someplace in the South, very conservative area, that it may have a different outcome completely. And let's say, for example, if I poll 10 people, and I say 9 out of 10 people, or I say, which is 90%, and I say 90% of those polled believe that civil rights is a good thing. Well, you don't know that I just polled just 10 people. You just know that the number is 90%. So how do you know what I'm really saying, or even the type of poll you're looking at? And those are the kinds of things we'll be checking out in this chapter. So here we go.